What if I told you that the next world war won't be fought over oil or ideology, but over water? Not in some distant dystopia, not in the next century, but right now, from California to Cape Town, from Beijing to the banks of the Euphrates, a silent war is already underway, and most of us don't even see it, because this war doesn't start with tanks, it starts with droughts, with whispers of privatization, and taps that suddenly run dry. This is the war over water 1, a future that's already here in 2018. Cape Town came terrifyingly close to what officials called Day Zero, the day the city's water supply would run out. Taps in homes, hospitals, and schools would be turned off. Citizens would line up under military supervision for daily rations of 25 liters. What once seemed unthinkable was now scheduled on a calendar. Cape Town avoided it badly, but the message was clear. The crisis isn't coming, it's already begun. And Cape Town was only the beginning. 2. Water wars. Past and present water has always been a source of power. In ancient Mesopotamia, controlling the Tigris and Euphrates meant controlling life. In Egypt, the Nile was the spine of an empire. But in modern times, we believed we had mastered nature, built dams, pipelines, desalination plants. But nature doesn't negotiate. Today, rivers like the Colorado, the Ganges, and the Indus are drying up. While their surrounding populations are exploding, we are repeating history. Except now, there are nukes on the table. 3. The countries already fighting. Let us start with India and Pakistan, 2 nuclear powers tied together by one artery, the Indus River. As glaciers feeding the river shrink, tensions rise. Both countries accuse each other of stealing what's left. Then there's Ethiopia and Egypt, a battle over the Grand Renaissance Dam on the Nile where Egypt has hinted at military action. And China, they're quietly building dozens of dams on rivers that flow into India, Laos, and Vietnam. In the new global order, who controls water, controls everything. 4. Why water is running out. There are 3 main reasons we're running out of water. Climate change, melting glaciers, longer droughts, hotter temperatures. Agriculture. 70% of all fresh water is used for farming, and much of it is wasted. Overpopulation, more people, more demand. Same amount of water, but here's the twist. The total amount of water on Earth hasn't changed. What's changed is how we use it, how we pollute it, and how we commodify it. 5. The rise of the water barons in 2020. Wall Street began trading water as a commodity just like oil or gold, has been caught extracting billions of gallons from public springs for pennies then selling it back in plastic bottles. In some towns in Michigan, residents pay more for water than they do for electricity, and in places like California, wealthy landowners buy up water rights like real estate while entire communities go dry. This is how the war becomes invisible, not with bullets, but with balance sheets. 6. The illusion of desalination and solutions. Desalination sounds like the fix turn ocean water into drinking water. But there's a catch. It's expensive, it's energy intensive, and the leftover brine can devastate marine ecosystems. Yes, there are promising technologies, atmospheric water generators, smart irrigation, wastewater recycling, but technology is only part of the answer. What we lack is will. 7. What happens when a nation runs dry? Before the Syrian civil war erupted, the country suffered the worst drought in its history. Crops failed, livestock died. Over 1 million people were displaced, migrating into cities that were already strained. It wasn't the sole cause of the war, but it was a match in a room full of gasoline. Now imagine that, on a global scale. 8. The fight to reclaim the future. Water should be a right, not a profit line. From Bolivia to Standing Rock, people have stood up against privatization. In Singapore, every drop of rain is captured, treated, and reused. In Israel, smart drip irrigation has transformed deserts into farmland. These are not miracles, they are choices. The war over water isn't just being fought in boardrooms and borders, it's being fought in how we think, how we consume, and what we choose to value. The war over water has already begun, but whether it ends in chaos or cooperation, that choice is still in our hands.